What's going on, it's the RapNerd, and if you are in the horror community or even just in the film community, you will know that there's been an article that dropped saying that the rights for Halloween have been in a bidding war with a few companies for a new movie or TV series. Now, I spoke about what was next for Halloween last year after Halloween Ends dropped, and I just want to revisit what I said and certain thing that I said that I've thought about since then, and it's just funny that this news dropped as I was thinking about it, because the Halloween season is coming. Obviously, Halloween is my favorite franchise, period, as far as films go. So I kind of have an idea of a pitch of what I would do with the franchise itself. Now, usually I kind of keep these things close to the hip because I'm like, hey, I'm a creator too. I would love to get my bits of writing and credits for an idea, put a little food on my plate and also get a credit. But here, I'm just like, whatever, this is my favorite franchise and I can't tuck this idea away from myself. So just putting it out there for the writers if you want to, because I would personally love to see what I'm about to say happen. So as I said, where Halloween can go from here. Now, what I would do is make a mini series, maybe about 8 to 10 episodes that ultimately leads to a reboot of the movies to keep that franchise going in the film world. You know what I mean? I would put this in the Halloween Season of the Witch universe. So it would start with the ending of Season of the Witch when the cult ended up succeeding with the mask and how they kind of crushed a lot of kids' skulls and faces, and Dr. Dan couldn't stop it. What would happen is one of Dr. Dan's kids, because if you watch the movie, he is married to the actress that played Nancy and also has 2 kids. So what I would do is one of the kids, specifically the son, would end up dying due to the mask, and his sister would live on. So that happens, and then Dr. Dan spends the rest of his life just dedicated to finding the same cult that he found in Season of the Witch, but ends up passing and can't find them. So we fast forward years later to where the daughter, she's grown up now, not super grown, but she's graduating high school, and she can't help but think about what happened with these masks and this cult. And of course the world tries to cover it up like it was a malfunction, blah, 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 blah. But she knows because her dad saw it for himself and told her the news about what happened, being able to explain why her brother died. So instead of going to college, she embarks on a journey just to find out more about the mask, why this cult exists, why it happened. And it's kind of just out of her not being able to move on with life. I don't think she doesn't really want anything out of it. She just wants to know why and how this happened. So while on this journey, I would have another storyline playing out, right? Since this universe of Halloween Season of the Witch is its own universe, and if you've seen the movie again, there's actually a commercial for Halloween. So in this universe, the Halloween movies are actually movies and they're not really real. You know what I mean? So what I would do is have the town that these movies were filmed in, that was used for Haddonfield. It would be like a real place in Illinois. It would be really like a tourist attraction, because they know that this is where the movies were shot, and the original mask is on like display in like a museum, and his suit and all of that would be there, right? What I would do is have high school kids. They are able to somehow get access to it in a way that makes sense. I haven't fully thought of this out, so you got to work with me. But it would be some way that they're able to access this mask, because it's really been cut off from the public. But somehow, some way, they're able to access the mask. They steal it, right? And they're messing with it, and it's this thing about like, oh, we got the real mask. It's October, of course. They're setting up for parties, and they're just living their lives. So that's one other storyline I would have running with it, right? While the daughter is out here going, city to city, doing her journey, she finds all of the masks from Season of the Witch. So each episode from her standpoint would be her finding one of the masks: the Goblin mask, the Skull mask, and the Halloween mask, right? So I would have her finding those. In each episode, when she finds one, it sets off some type of trigger, because I didn't mention it earlier, but supposedly after this mass death happened, they got rid of all of those masks. There was only a few left. So she finds them, and she finds the first one, and she has it, and she's like, okay, blah, 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 whatever happens there. And when she finds the second one, it sends a trigger to the mask. And the first one she would find is the Skull one, and then she would find the Goblin one. So when she finds those two, it sends some sort of trigger. And what ends up happening is this kind of triggers the other masks that are also out there, that are still in the world or whatever. And the Michael Myers mask And this is the mask I was talking about in the other storyline. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. But that mask also is one of the masks that was produced by the Silver Shamrock. So what ends up happening is, as the guy is trying to mask on and he's doing things, and he has it at his house, when it gets triggered, the mask kind of calls out to him, like kind of how a negative conscience is, where he'll kind of just start to be bugged out, hearing stuff kind of like, kill, you should kill, murder. Like just little stuff being said to him in his room when he has the mask, and he's kind of just looking at it like, what the hell's going on? Of course, she ends up finding all three masks, the pumpkin mask as it is, and when she finds that, it literally triggers the Michael Myers mask, and the guy puts the mask on Halloween night, and it's pretty much just him killing the shit out of everybody in his neighborhood. Going on a slaughter fest, and it's kind of a recreation of '78, because the movie Halloween was made by the Samhain cult from Season of the Witch, and once he becomes like Michael, he's not even Michael, but once he becomes the entity of Michael, who everyone thought was fake, you could just run with that and do a whole bunch of stuff. And of course, every episode would have its horror elements in it. Like, I would make some type of lore surrounding each mask in some type of horror-esque aspect. The skulls are amongst a certain in a certain cave or something, and the goblin mask would be, but it would be something scary along the lines of each mask, to keep the horror elements up and build on the idea of an anthology story. So that's what I would do. Like, each mask is a different style of horror, and I think that would be dope. So we had that running along with the kid in high school, the girl trying to find a mask, and they kind of just end up coming together. And what you could do is, the last episode could be Michael just murking people, and as the daughter's coming back home, she gets the news about what just happened, and she's kind of like trying to put two and two together. And then you go into the movie where this new Michael on the loose, who maybe gets away or still in the town, and then you have to address all of that in a movie, and you could just carry that on for whatever. And you could do this without the need of a Laurie Strode or even a classic Michael, because the mask itself was triggered by these other three masks. Because one thing about the franchise is the masks play a huge part in a lot of stuff happening. So I would capitalize on that straight up. I wouldn't beat around the bush. I would literally say that these masks were created from a cult. That the Silver Shamrock emblem is what triggered everything. I think that you could really take the franchise a different space by doing that. I feel like pushing the lore already built in Season of the Witch into the mask, calling people and why it's so evil, I think it's worked. The groundwork is already in Halloween 3. So that would be my pitch for a series, a movie. Do this 8. Hell, you could even do 6 episodes depending on how it's written. Just do 6 episodes, and then leads right into a new Halloween movie, and boom, we've rebooted the franchise without the need of bringing Laurie or the OG Michael back. So let me know in the comments what you think about that plan. What is your plan? You know what I mean? And if you don't like my plan, be kind. I just spitball and don't tear me apart. As you can see, I'm a Halloween fan, and it just blows my mind that we're done. I don't want it to be done. Give me all the Michael you can get. But if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, thank you. And until next time, peace. RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy.